you can sell me so many different types of products, right? Like I trust you and you're the most important part of my buying decision.
When it comes to building a successful influencer affiliate or affiliate program or loyalty and referral, friction is a community killer.
Being able to onboard creators to that experience, have them start so quickly, it has really tightened the feedback loop and we get data really fast.
As a brand, I'm glad that my influencers feel warm and fuzzy, but like, what's it mean for me?
Welcome back to the ZeroTo1 Podcast. You're about to hear a conversation with Andy and Anders from Superfiliate. I cannot say enough good things about the Superfiliate platform and their team, but in this conversation, we dive right into some deep topics spanning from how to create a successful customer loyalty and referral program to influencer affiliate programs, all the way to entrepreneurship and their journey building a thriving tech company. So one of my favorite conversations to date. Enjoy. All right, welcome to the pod. It's good to have you guys. We always have good guests, great guests, but it's really special when we have guests that are also our friends. You guys spend a lot of time together, obviously in business, but we've hung out a number of times. So it's a pleasure to have you on. I know you guys are two of the brightest minds that we interact with on a daily basis. There's going to be a lot of value for the audience, I hope, in this conversation. But let's just get right into it. I would love to hear just, at a high level, real quick before we dig into the weeds, what you guys are up to at Superfiliate and any sort of information you think is relevant to share about, platform, who you guys are. And then we've definitely got some specific questions about how we can build some successful programs.
Awesome. Thanks for having us, y'all. Yeah, I guess the real quick and dirty on us is Superfiliate's a word of mouth platform where brands can run their end-to-end affiliate, ambassador, referral, and influencer programs. That's like one side of our value prop, right? Where we consolidate all your word of mouth programs into one app. We saw so many brands paying for, let's just say, 4 different apps for each of those sub-verticals. And the second part of our core value is we automate the creation of co-branded landing pages for a brand's best customers and creators. And the whole ethos there was that the traditional, let's just say, affiliate, influencer, referral space has just been dominated by simple links that drive traffic to a PDP or a shop all page. And if I follow you, Mika O'Reilly, and I click on your super engaging Instagram story and I go to a shop all page with 100 products, you're just totally gone from my purchase experience. And so we've basically automated the creation of co-branded landing pages. An example we always give is Athletic Greens and Andrew Huberman are partnering. They're building a co-branded landing page for that partnership for obvious reasons, right? It's driving more conversion because the social proof is just relevant. It's about Huberman. And also, of course, to increase the propensity of that creator to actually share that link. If you want to broker long-term partners with creators, you want to give them something that actually makes them feel recognized rather than just a link that drives you to a PDP. So that's the quick and dirty on us. Andy, anything else you would add on the background?
No, I think you covered it just fine.
We've used a lot of platforms in this journey of building influencer affiliate programs. And when we came across Superfiliate, it was like light bulb moment. This is the platform we always wanted. And one of those things that makes it so special, I think, is the personalization component. I would love to know your thoughts around that, why you brought that to the table and how that's a part of the e-commerce journey or should be today.
Totally. I mean, if I follow a creator, let's just say, Riley, you're the creator I'm following, you're a pet influencer, you can sell me so many different types of products, right? I trust you and you're the most important part of my buying decision. So when a brand brokers a relationship with Riley, the brand is actually kind of irrelevant to me. Riley is the most important part of my purchase decision. So when I click on that link and I go to their homepage or their product page, let's just say there's some video content in there, or there's review content. All of that's interesting on a normal customer journey. But for my journey, I want to see Riley's video about using the product. I want to see Riley's review. I want to see Riley's curated picks. And also, really importantly, we built this technology in mind that creators may not have the time or know how to want to do that personalization. Mm-hmm. So how can we auto personalize a lot of these things? We've seen so many companies that are building for creators that go to die, where they assume that creators are going to do extra work. They're already making this great, compelling content. They may not care about, this new app they can log into or this new feature. It's they're great at posting on YouTube and TikTok and Instagram. And let's make sure that the e-commerce experience is hyper personalized for their traffic. And so there's kind of that duality with personalization. It's going to increase the conversion of the shoppers coming in. And then hopefully as well, Riley feels better about bringing his traffic to that page rather than just having that transactional relationship. And the only other thing I'll say is, I think if you broker a transactional relationship with a creator and you just give Riley a link that says 20% off for XYZ products, that transactional feeling is going to translate very likely into Riley's content, right? So if you deepen the sense of partnership by giving them this page where you say, hey, we built you this co-branded landing page, it's how you're treated as a partner that's going to be reflected in Riley's content. Thus, it's going to be reflected in how their audience feels about actually going to go purchase at that brand. So yeah, that's how we feel on the personalization side.
What do you guys see just in terms of a lift on the conversion rate side? Like, do you guys have any data or metrics around the increase in conversion rate when influencers have that co-branded experience that they're sending their traffic to, compared to sending it to the brand's landing page or website?
Totally. Andy, I feel like the fun one was with Equip recently. We had seen, I'll take a part of it, and then I think it could be a really nice segue where they generally, this one brand had just been testing us versus, other platforms and just sending it to a PDP and shop all page, which by the way, were optimized pages, right? They were pages that they have pushed for conversion, and they saw a 30 to 35% increase in conversion from that traffic coming in. And then Andy, I think there were some cool stats around like add to cart that we had it as well.
Yeah. And we were, going back to that example, Equip Foods, we were doing a specific test on a creator that has been a great partner for them. They spend a lot of money partnering and empowering this creator. And, it was a funny example of like one of those moments where you feel like you're onto something. And we were running that test between traditional links going to shopall/PDP versus Superfiliate. We actually took the landing page away for a moment, and the creator proactively reached out and was like, hey, what happened to my page? And they enjoyed seeing their face on the page. But then I think when you think about, okay, as a brand, I'm glad that my influencers feel warm and fuzzy, but what's it mean for me? I think, we were running a test there and we saw a 42% add to cart rate. And I think that's all around these creators spend so much time building trust and building authenticity with their audiences. And just when you're able to continue that all the way down funnel from first encounter on a story or first encounter on a blog, I click the page and I'm like, oh, Maria actually uses this product. This is actually something this is not an affiliate link from a Men's Health magazine that links out to some random product. This is Maria saying, here's how I make it. And this is how you should do it too. And then you scroll down, you're like, well, okay, how does this shopping experience go from here? Oh, right there's Maria's picks. I see Maria's face and she's saying, here's the products that are being used in the content above, or the products that I use, or even in some instances for customers that really take this to the next level, Maria's bundle that has all the products that she's using, and I can just quickly add to cart. I think it takes a lot of that analysis paralysis out of that experience. And you never have that why am I here? Or, you're scrolling and you end up on a page and you're like, how did I end up on, XYZ brand? With this experience, it's just very clear from all the way through to funnel, and seeing both the qualitative and the quantitative part has been really neat.
Definitely. I think, a lot of smart marketers kind of intuitively know that a tailored landing page to a creator is going to convert better. Years ago at Shipped, we did this. Our best performing campaigns were co-branded pages, but that runway, we had to spend 60 days in a production cycle to get that done. And so therefore you only do that investment with macro creators, macro influencers that are kind of justify that. We see a lot of brands who get that, but they can't prioritize that, at least for a community of influencers, maybe one or two. But you guys kind of really solve that, which is one of the more magical things about Superfiliate, in my opinion. Talk to us about that piece.
This is part of the ethos of starting the company. We kind of asked ourselves the question, over the next 3 or 4 years, what's going to become a standard in influencer marketing? And it was clear to us that the front end is going to become a standard, right? The moment we launched was the moment Amazon storefronts launched. Of course, you already have companies like LTK that have been around, which is kind of it's serving creators. Those are considered these vertical marketplaces, where you're serving a creator, they have other products that are in there. Same thing with Amazon storefronts. And we saw the best teams that we knew building these co-branded landing pages, like you said, Mika, to the top performing creators. And so we wanted to take a tier 1 strategy and then just scale it to the rest of the ecosystem, because we felt that if we could, it would become the standard in influencer and affiliate marketing. And that's what we're seeing now, right? With Andy's point around taking a creator's page away and then immediately asking for it back, that is the exact product market fit that we've wanted to see. And we're seeing this now across brands where they don't want to treat their creators like a pay-per-post relationship. They want to build a partnership with them over time. And so the front end actually correlates really nicely with, I think, where the influencer marketing ecosystem is going, which is a partnership driven, long-term net creator retention ecosystem where you're trying to retain all these creators that you've worked so hard to find and discover. Not to mention they're warming up their audiences over time. They're growing their audiences over time. So if you can broker that long-term relationship and use the front end as a way to catalyze and deepen that partnership, all the better.
Knowing you guys are focused on the front end side, I think when it comes to building a successful influencer affiliate or affiliate program or loyalty and referral, friction is a community killer. Like friction when building any of those channels or those communities, it kills it from the start. So how have you guys solved for that with Superfiliate? How are you guys enabling frictionless setup and really frictionless opt-in for creators and customers just with brands that are building these big communities?
I'll take two lenses from this. I'll take the creator side, so like the Superfiliate angle, that could be a creator or customer, and I'll take the brand side. On the Superfiliate side, we simplify the process of these landing pages, right? We don't say, hey, Riley, you as the creator need to build this landing page. It's still just a link or code. You have a mental model of posting a link or code simply on your Instagram stories, and it needs to be that simple. We don't want to add any other friction in place of just sending that out to your audience. And that was really, really important for us from the start. We obviously also have referral and loyalty components, like you mentioned, which is like a lot of on-site interactions, email and SMS engagements. And so we've built a really great, really simple mobile-first infrastructure where it's extremely easy to log in. I actually draw a lot of parallels to Partyful. If you're familiar with Partyful, of course, I think we've all used it here. It's so interesting that they've been able to take hold in the last like couple of years here. It's like a random party software for events. And like, it's so simple to get into there. It's all OTP, phone verification. You have a quasi logged in state where you're able to kind of like hook people in and market them, but you can't see the guest list. We take a lot of those features as inspiration for how we want to get people into the portal, how we want to get them into getting their link and their code, with it being so simple, so mobile first and text focused. So just like, how can you do it all from a mobile workflow? And then on the merchant side, we also didn't want to say, hey, Riley, you as the brand, you know, of course you want a front end strategy, but now you need to build these co-branded landing pages. You need to manage them. And so we will always build the first version of the co-branded landing page for a team for free, right? We'll say, you're used to spending $10,000 on a landing page. We're going to build that. Give us a week or so. You know, we've created a whole system internally to like really make that a magical experience. But I want you as the brand to not say, I need to focus on building the best front end. I want you to still say, I need to focus on finding the best super affiliates to bring into the program. Right? We're here to do all like the boring work, the setup, and like your job is to get more people in top of funnel and educate them. And so ideally there is no extra friction and it's only additive because it deepens that partnership.
Curious, you guys have cool companies that use Superfiliate. Who are some of the brands that people may know and admire that are finding a lot of success on the platform? And then I would love to click into like what their program looks like and see if there's any tools, tips, recommendations on how to structure an effective program.
Some of the brands that are on us now are like True Classic, Dr. Squatch, Mudwater. We've gone up market a lot. We're about to get a lot more into fashion. Some that are less talked about, but that are growing really quickly, which I think, Andy, you and I are the most interested in. It's like, what's the mid-market that's accelerating? Very similar to what Shopify released yesterday, which is the mid-market now is the enterprise market of the future. And there's companies like Viva Raw, an amazing pet food company. They're a really great example. They have like 9 programs running at Superfiliate where they have 20,000 different super affiliates across those programs. It's a 7-figure program. It's their highest ROI channel, double digits in revenue for them. And I think what they're doing really well is that they are saying, let's have a true referral loyalty program. Let's have a cat influencer program, a dog influencer program. And then also let's think about the creator professional. So they do and target a lot of veterinarians, you know, and I think that is a really interesting place to go where the traditional 1.0 of influencer, where you could just kind of have anyone and ride their coattails of influence, is kind of deteriorating, right? Like trust is and has been always the thing that you're selling on. And the people that have the most amount of trust now, in my opinion, in this next wave of creators is going to be the creator professional, the almost like reluctant content creator who has super high trust, like a veterinarian, that also makes content. And so that's been really interesting for us to see across the brands we work with.
The only thing I would add there is, there's the famous quote of like, good artists make and great artists steal. And I think like a lot of what we've built into the product is looking at best in class programs that we look up to and making sure that our brands are able to take advantage of that. And like a huge unlock of success is doing something unique that stands out from the crowd. Everybody has seen, their points-based program or their traditional affiliate link, and just thinking about little things that can make someone say, hey, like, I actually care about this brand and they're giving me rewards that make me want to engage. So you look at like our gifting program where brands, customers can progressively unlock, whether it's like brand merch or additional product, or even things like we have companies using AirPods as rewards. And it's just like, okay, I'm not just getting my give 20, get 20. And like, yes, I'm happy to have $20 off my next order. But so many of these brands that are actually building successful programs, but more importantly, companies, have a certain level of like customer affinity, and people want to feel like they're a part of it. And it's, there's so many cool things that we've built into the program that enable brands to like dangle those carrots and show people and recognize people for doing that. So that's something that's been really exciting to see. And just getting the feedback of, oh, I got a brand t-shirt. Oh, and guess what? That's flywheel for more content and more sharing, because people like when they go to the mailbox and there's a package that they didn't even buy and it's a shirt that's got a brand that they have in their cabinet. That builds that affinity. And I think that's just a flywheel that we want to create and enable in the widest weight, most automated way.
So when brands come to you and they don't currently have a referral or loyalty program, what is the pitch? What is the 30-second elevator pitch on why brands should be investing into building a referral loyalty program?
I think it's mainly untapped revenue. I think there's not a lot of brands that say, why should we do it? I think they understand that there's revenue left on the table. I think it's more a matter of, have traditional referral and loyalty platforms worked for people? And traditional loyalty programs are many tiered programs. A lot of the e-commerce D2C ecosystem wanted the multi-tier point-based systems to be effective, the ones that the airlines and let's just say Starbucks used. And I think what they found is that loyalty can be fickle. Customers are also kind of simple. They want the best quality product for the cheapest price and as fast as possible. And so how can you build something that is really seamless and easy to use, kind of to your point earlier, Riley, around just reducing friction? And so for us, when we started to think about co-branded landing pages, it actually came out of the ethos of, what is a share-worthy experience? Why does someone just want to share a transactional link with their friends? Like, why don't they share an experience, like a co-branded landing page that they can share in their group chat, and the culture of certain friend groups isn't oriented around discounting, it's oriented around discovery. And so we wanted to be able to tap into that. With that said, I think it depends on the brand and like how they should go after referral and loyalty. We always execute on an SMS and email strategy, a social first strategy where you're recruiting people to the program. You're constantly reminding them about the program. And like Andy said before, also including things like cashback, milestone-based gifting, make it a surprise and delight system rather than an action to earn system. A lot of the referral and loyalty programs were action to earn. Like us on Facebook and get this, do this action and do it. You should assume that no one cares. And like if a customer has bought 6 times, are they a loyal customer if they haven't taken any of the actions? Of course. And so what can you already give them, and how can the product enable that sense of loyalty and sense of surprise and delight? And so we've baked that really into the referral and loyalty product.
So the brands that are doing it right, either on the ambassador side or the referral loyalty, you mentioned some serious ROAS benchmarks and percent of revenue. Like, what should a healthy, maybe optimized referral and ambassador program do from a revenue standpoint versus other channels? I
think you look at industry benchmarks and you'll see, let's say refer a friend is a segment of revenue. Like, usually brands are looking around that 0.5% to 2%. Being on the high end of that range is great. I think there's obviously this element that that word of mouth is driving more than that. However, it's how many people are engaging with your system. I can tell Anders about a product that I love and he can go buy it, and you'll never know that happened unless you have a system that makes it worth me engaging. So like there's an education component, then there's an incentive component of, hey, I can tell Anders, or I can send my link to Anders and get a t-shirt from the brand. Like that's the type of stuff that pushes me over the edge. So I think like we want to come in, see where our baseline is, help brands get there to the top end of that, and then start to think about what can we do to take that to the next level. And like sometimes there's levels of creativity that brands will bring to us that we've seen amazing engagement on. It's doing contests. It's running short-term promotions where you're increasing rewards. You're dropping credit into people's accounts and saying, come shop this weekend. Psychologically, that's more powerful than like, here's a 20% discount. That I don't feel like I'm getting anything from the brand there. If we have brands that are saying we're putting $20 in your wallet for this weekend only to our top 1,000 customers, come and spend it. The results on that is insane. And we like, from your point on the friction, Riley, we make it so low friction. You do that. We send out the letter, people come shop, and we've seen it be people's highest performing Klaviyo flows. Like that is where the revenue is coming from, because you've just tapped into this psychology of like, this brand is surprising and delighting me, and it makes people want to come shop. The last thing I'll say on the metric side is like wanting to, and Superfiliate makes it very easy for us to understand this. What do these cohorts of customers look like that are coming from these channels? And so far we've been able to demonstrably show the lifetime value of a customer coming in from a referral channel is higher than the lifetime value of somebody coming in through a paid ad, particularly a paid ad during, a Black Friday, Cyber Monday, like flash sale. And being able to show that like, hey, this is a worthwhile customer to invest in also unlocks the brand's ability to put more incentive behind bringing those people, because I'm willing to spend $50 on Meta to acquire a customer. I give my customer $30 if I know that person's going to be worth $90 over the lifetime of the account. So it's just doing things like that and serving up the data to make it really easy to understand how are we performing, how could we do better, and then continually raising that bar as the program scales.
I love that. You mentioned Klaviyo. What is the best tech stack?
This is
all of our integration partners.
I think in the end of the day, what you're seeing, if we zoom all the way out, so much of the e-commerce ecosystem has become a commodity, right? Like over time, I'll just put it this way. If you have any innovation in any market, you have like a 6 to 18 month head start. And very rarely are there actually moats that are set up within those technology cycles, right? It's like when you look at the growth of Klaviyo, it seems like this obvious choice for everyone. 5 years ago, that wasn't the case. 10 years ago, that wasn't the case. And it was like MailChimp and Shopify had like kind of an infamous falling out in some ways too. So I think for us, like we don't really have a dog in the fight. Like we bring and accept any tech stack because we have to. And now I think we're really looking outside of even Shopify to say like, what's the tech stack people will bring us outside of Shopify in that territory. So obviously have a subscription provider, an email and SMS provider, review provider. But I think for the sake of all of our integrations, we're kind of agnostic, and we play Switzerland for the best tech stack.
Great answer.
Saw you guys just hit a big milestone. 1.3 million co-branded microsites launched to date. What does that journey look like going from start to hitting 1.3 million co-branded microsites? And what are you guys excited about moving forward into 2024? Like what trends are you seeing, or what are you most excited about?
Well, the psychological journey has been everywhere. I think on that side, the product journey, even just a year and a half ago, microsites were like a twinkle in our eye of the thing that we wanted to be doing. We saw that as the standard, and we wanted to push that. I think for us, to get here, we've really had to prove product market fit, and it required a certain amount of baseline flexibility and performance in the front end, which took so long. And that took a ton of investment into having North Stars. And our North Star was always conversions of our merchants. And then we have North Stars on the product side, which is how are we actually delivering on our promise to have highly performant mobile video first co-branded landing pages that these creators and customers are going to be excited about. And so that's been a fraction of a journey. I think for Andy and I, we have this whole separate, founder journey that's just like, we started the year at maybe 9 people, and now we have 25 or so, and we're very blessed to have an amazing team. There's things that hurt when you expand that quickly, but obviously we've just hired incredible people. And so the growth has been able to really be sustained and accelerate. And as we go to 24, there's a lot we're looking at doing. Again, it's going to be deepening our wedge with the co-branded landing page and delivering on our promise there. And now, of course, thinking about going outside of the Shopify ecosystem and seeing where we can tackle other merchants together. Because what we're doing is we're really putting the point of influence next to the point of conversion. That extrapolates outside of just the Shopify OMS ecosystem. It's Shopify. It's outside of all OMS ecosystems and e-commerce. I think there's a lot of opportunity there to be a front-end infrastructure for the way that companies work with their creators and customers. And that's kind of the more macro vision. But I think I would be, I guess, Andy, I'd love to hear on this journey side, what it's been like for you.
Two things come to mind whenever we bring up like the journey. One is I came to this as somebody who had been around companies, but had never built a company. And doing something like ambitious, like bringing a new paradigm to a market, requires this like relentless conviction about where you're headed. And I think like building these has been, V1, you would laugh at. V2, you're like, oh, it's okay. V3, you keep building. And then you start to see it come together. And like Anders has this incredible conviction and just sustainability of just saying, we're going to keep putting one foot in front of the other and getting 1% better every day. And it is just absolutely insane to see where things have come. And you one day, down the road, we'll pull back out. One of my favorite stories of Superfiliate is we were at an offsite. One of our teammates was not able to come, but it was his birthday. And we used like V0.1 of our like landing page infrastructure to build a like happy birthday like landing page for him that had like his reward on it and stuff. And if you were to go and look at it right now, you all would be like, the fact that anyone ever bought your software actually makes me concerned at, their buying or their procurement process. And now it's just like, you watch these things get better month over month, week over week. And just like that journey has been one of the most like gratifying and edifying experiences for me. And just like really learning that, you have to believe in what you're doing, and you have to believe that what you're doing is important and matters, and then just put in the work to get there. And, we'll never actually get there. It's always opportunity for improvement, but it's been just an incredible journey, and just like couldn't be more proud of like the team that we put together to do it. And I think, one of my favorite quotes in that new Musk book was building the machine that builds the machine. And I think we've done a lot of work early on in building the machine that builds the machine. And that's like really paying dividends on product velocity now. So when I think about 24, of course, we're going to try to be growing the business, selling, whatever. But I think like what I'm really excited about is just seeing where this product can go as we continue to deepen our wedge, but also think about the workflows of our users and just making a user's life, like somebody at a ZeroTo1, really easy, and pulling just more and more pieces of that workflow into our app to make, at a single pane of glass for somebody to run like a best in class program.
I love that answer. Along that journey, what has been the biggest challenge to overcome?
I think there's the darkest days of founding a company is when you have employees and you're mid product market fit, and externally you have to be just ruthlessly confident in what your product is, or what really your product will be in the future, but is not today. And then internally to yourself, you're kind of running the calculus of, where do I need to play devil's advocate to push this product to where it needs to be? And how do I communicate that effectively, not only to myself, but to the team? Because there's just varying degrees of confidence you need to push outward while being your biggest skeptic, but of course, not to the detriment of your mental health, the team's confidence in your ability. Like there's just so much to balance there, and it's so uncomfortable. Like the early days of starting a business there is so, you feel it in your body. It just feels like you're not complete yet. And you're really, really, really trying to sprint to this thing that you can see. And the scariest time is when you can't see what you want to build. And then the moment you do see it, you still have months of promising the world. And of course, needing to deliver on that to then find out if you're right or wrong. And so I think that challenging period was like 3 to 6 months at Superfiliate, and was just extremely challenging mentally, physically. And then we've gotten well past that now, but definitely the most uncomfortable part of the journey.
What a nuanced answer. I love that. How is that different for you versus like communicating to your team, belief versus being a critic and trying to refine things? How did you navigate that?
There's this early moment in a founding team. Our founding team is extremely entrepreneurial. And so a lot of people were very comfortable with the unknowns. And it's very much why we chose them. Like every single one of our employees, even today, is extremely entrepreneurial and is so comfortable with being wrong. And so we had debates internally. We had very open conversations. And then at one point, It was like, hey, we're going to keep our core referral loyalty product. We're going to go after the co-branded landing pages. This is why we're taking a bet. We're going to not be sure if we're right for many months, but here's why. And gaining the conviction around that and having an ecosystem or an internal culture where you can talk about it comfortably, I think we were very blessed. And our team is extremely comfortable in that uncomfortable space, which made it a lot easier. But of course, very uncomfortable when you're going to the market at the same time or you're fundraising at the same time, and just balancing those different points.
A big learning I've had is like the value of repeating things over and over again and always having that why. You know, it's like Anders does these incredible quarterly product strategy docs. It's like charts the course for the quarter, explains why we're doing what we're doing. And you just keep reiterating that and you never know when it's going to stick. You know, we have a book club internally where we're like reading various books. And we had an awesome situation a few weeks ago where Anders kind of had a chance to like restate that product strategy in a very clear and succinct way. And when he said it, an engineer, you know, came off and spoke up and said, wow, like that just made this like pain in the butt task that I've been working on for the last 2 weeks. It totally contextualized it. And now my like perspective on that has changed entirely, because what seemed like kind of a mundane, like front end task, I'm now realizing is mission critical to what we're trying to achieve. And it's just like having those moments where people can really attach like, hey, we might not be there today, but this is where we're going. This is why we're going there. And we're all going together, I think is like an extremely powerful thing. Easier to do that when things are going well, but like you have those hard times where you have to just like gather yourself and say like, hey, I'm going to be like real and authentic and honest, but I'm also going to be excited and clear and like high conviction. And I think that conviction has really paid off. And you got to have the right people, though. I think it goes back to that, is like people who are ready to just get on the boat and say, let's go. And we're all going together and we're either going to sink or swim, and that's okay.
My question is for you, Micah. I want to
This is a first.
switch the dynamic up here a little bit. From your perspective, knowing that we're building programs, influencer affiliate programs using Superfiliate, and we have clients that we're not utilizing Superfiliate for multiple reasons, mostly because they're not on Shopify. But what benefits do you see for the programs that we are building that are using Superfiliate compared to the ones that don't?
Wow, there's so many ways to go with that question. I think the first one, and this is maybe not what you're expecting here, but like the first one is with these programs, there's always like internal politics and stuff. And in the landing page experience of when anyone across multiple departments that are pulled into the conversation, whether it's leadership or different departments, when they get to see what that landing page experience is like from the personalization standpoint, how quickly it's spun around and how much it represents their brand, there is immediate buy-in across multiple parts of the business. Getting traction on these programs, I've never seen it happen faster. It is usually a battle to get movement because there's always affiliate teams and growth teams and brand teams and then leadership decisions and finance. And these programs are not, inexpensive to build. So that'd be the first thing, is just the internal buy-in that happens is really kind of a magical experience. It's made our job easy on selling these programs, that's for sure. Outside of that, in terms of the program, like the operations and success of the programs, I think being able to onboard creators to that experience, have them start so quickly, it has really tightened the feedback loop and we get data really fast. And also signal of interest, because of like, it's easy to sign up. There's a lot that can happen. They can do. There's lots of ways you can even utilize it. And then our goal is to get them started quickly, which happens fast. But then how do we coach the creators into delivering better results? And we just get to that journey a lot better because there's no friction in getting started. And it's flashy and sexy, and it's something they really want to engage with right out of the gates. So we get speed to result in like a really condensed time frame.
Flashy and sexy must come from Anders. I've never been accused of such.
That was cool. Never had a question asked of me on this podcast. So final questions. What if there was just someone out there who is thinking about building an ambassador style program or referral loyalty? What advice would you have for them? Tips? These are people that do not have a program currently, but are considering bringing that into their mix.
I would do this psychographic exercise where you really look at your product and you try to understand what is the trust that a creator could actually sell here. I'll give an example of Adam Greenfield, one of the co-founders of Thesis. He had a great bit on, they sell a nootropics product that's all about focus. They're selling trust focus, right? It's like, it's someone who has an audience that basically is all around optimizing focus. And they found their niche with creators in so many weird places. Like a shooting range creator, like focus for his audience was super, super important. And so it was this asymmetric type of creator that was actually very effective for them. And they had all different types of sub verticals across the creator ecosystem that worked for them. And so I would really be asking the question of like, who has the highest trust amongst the people that they can sell into? And so that can be non-traditional. It can be very non-traditional. And I'll come back to this point again, which is like, who is the creator professional within your ecosystem and within your product that makes sense to sell that product? If you're a skincare company, I'd be looking at dermatologists, maybe not the more traditional, kind of like huge beauty influencer who's brokering these massive deals, particularly because you're just starting off. Go build those one-to-one relationships with them. And also keep in mind, these are people. People talk about influencer programs, like getting 1,000 people in the top of funnel. Like, think about them as people, invest in them like they're people, and be focused on the basic first principles that they need to make money and they need to supply for themselves and their family. And so it's around creating that alignment. So I would kind of start with the psychographic exercise and really understand what the version of trust your product needs to have to be sold to. And then I would start to just go into the relationship building mode. And that can be 5 people to start. I wouldn't say you need hundreds of people. Start with some amazing partners that you get to know on a first name basis, and their families, because their audiences will grow over time and your relationship with them will deepen.
Definitely. So much of that journey in building a program early on is also getting feedback from them and refining your offer and refining how you even find and prospect for creators. So I think that feedback loop, having that relationship be really tight early on, allows you to scale smarter as well. So
I would say I love start small. And then I think it's, thinking about charting that course of if successful, then what? It's like, where are we going to go? Are we going to, triple down on this program? Are we going to bring in somebody to staff it because we see the green shoots? Like some of our customers have come in, started. The biggest advantage you have as a founder, whether you're a brand, a software company, whatever, is the founder persona. So like early days, it's maybe the founder reaching out from a personal Instagram and saying, hey, here's my company. This is why I started it. And I think, you seem like you're aligned with that. I'd love to talk, and you build that muscle. Then over time, you can think about ways to staff that, whether it's, agency partnerships like ZeroTo1, who are going to like make sure that you are doing best in class across all of that outreach, management, retention, all of that. And then I think you can also think about, okay, well, what programs can I bring on next to complement this, to like complete that customer or creator journey? So, we'll see a lot of people at Superfiliate maybe start on the influencer side and then say, hey, I want to start doing something for my customers as well. And they'll come to us and say, can you help? And we'll like very quickly and easily help them set that up, automate it, put it on autopilot where we're using triggers inside of email and SMS tools, and just like overall layering these channels on one by one, because at the end of the day, there's no silver bullet that's just going to turn your business around tomorrow, where it's just like, skyrocket, rocket ship growth. But what you can do is you can layer in and automate and engage on 2, 3, 4 new channels that can each be incrementally, X% growth. And when you stack that up at the end of the year, it's really, really powerful. And you also start to see that they're all feeding the flywheel. More influencers means more customers, which means more customers to refer new customers and more customers to come back and purchase from you. And you just keep that flywheel spinning, and you can keep that going up and to the right. And, in a perfect world, that compounds.
In your opinion, do you start, early on with referral loyalty or influencer?
We always recommend just get 2 programs up and running. One for your customers that are just going to be turn and burn. It's evergreen. You can invest in it. You can run referral weeks or like promotions on that side. Start to create a program from the beginning, right? Like we were saying before, if it's just a couple people, if you even put up an Instagram story that says, hey, we're starting a creator program, apply here. We have an application for them. And I guarantee you'll get hundreds of inbound people for you to begin talking to and kind of get back to the point we were mentioning earlier, which is who are these creators? What's their audience like? What are they into? And then does that align with the trust that we need to build with a potential shopper, and see where that overlap might be?
Yeah.
And the thing I'll add on that, Mike, is like part of the way that we've structured our arrangements and deals at Superfiliate is to remove all friction from a brand doing that. So there is no additional cost to add a new program. So, we don't want people to have to feel like they know that answer, go buy a piece of software, do it, and then say, okay, did that. Now I need to go find another piece of software to run another type of program. We, let people come in. They can spin up 2 programs from day one if they want, or they can go sequential, doesn't matter. And we want to make sure there's no friction to somebody turning on a new program and like tapping into a new channel that might end up being the one that they crack in, 24 or beyond.
I love that. Because in theory, your referral loyalty, once ironed out, should be fairly playbook and fairly automated. And it also kind of solves leaky buckets. So as you're investing in top of funnel and almost getting more traffic with your influence community or paid channels, you're capturing at least 1% of that and turning them into advocates as well. So I love that. All right, guys, it's been a pleasure. Always fun talking to you. I know we're going to catch up soon at an event, but we'll get you back on the podcast soon, because I think this is a really valuable conversation. There's a lot more we could discuss. So until next time.
Amazing. Thanks for being amazing partners, Riley and Mika. I'll see you soon.
Later.
Bye-bye.